What's going on this snowy Friday, Fall Nation? Hope you're staying safe. Staying safe. Hope you're staying warm out here today as the snow's falling here in the upstate, and something I haven't seen in a long time. It's pretty cool. Feel like a kid on Christmas morning today. This snow falling now, if the ice and stuff will stay away. But let's talk some Tennessee football today, and specifically portal news, portal approach. People have really been up in arms over this portal thing the whole time. And, I think it takes a dive into what is this staff doing with the portal. And I think it bears discussing here. But before we move any further, make sure you hit that like, you hit that share, that subscribe. 4 subscribers away from 2,000 subscribers away from 2,800. We're on the road to 3,000 right now. So if you know anybody who has not checked out the content, send it along to them. I'll take quality over quantity any day of the week. I'll put our quality up against any out there. That's how confident just I feel in this. Our only competition is us and what we do here. We just strive to be better here each and every day, each and every video. And we've got a lot of stuff coming a long way, especially baseball. We've got a ton. We've talked about it. And we're really going to dial in and focus, Carrie and I, on really making this your hub for Tennessee baseball. That's this is going to be your place to come a long way. But in the meantime, we're still going to talk portal. We're going to talk football here. It's exciting. It's fun. It's brought a lot of views to the channel, a lot of membership. So let's talk some portal here. As the only known name I know right now Tennessee's in on. And that's not to say they're not working behind the scenes. That's not to say they're not involved with any other players. But the only one I'm aware of is Emmanuel Pregnon, offensive lineman from USC. Apparently, he did finish up a visit today. I saw Austin Price, VolQuest.com, posted that Pregnon is not doing interviews. Said, I think something along the lines, his quote was, "I'm not in this for the headlines. I'm trying to find a place to play football." So he's supposed to visit Texas, and this according to Austin Price, and said there's another unknown team that he's looking at visiting as well. He's visited Oregon. Not sure if he visited it anywhere before that as well, but it said that he does have a high interest in playing in the SEC. So, yeah, the SEC could be done tonight if Ohio State takes care of business against Texas, which if Ohio State keeps playing the way they have, I think they run through Texas. But I expect this to be a good game tonight. SEC has definitely had a down season. They've had a couple of down years in a row overall. The Big Ten has really kind of overtaken them, but there's still that SEC interest out there for players. They still know for the most part you're way too. And this is taking nothing from the Big Ten as well, but players still know you go play in the SEC, you're going to have a real good opportunity to make it to the NFL, and that's where they're all said and done. And I said I'd run across, I think it was called Trojan Blade, a USC YouTube channel, and they were not happy about Pregnon hitting the portal. They said, this was our best offensive lineman this year, would have been our best offensive lineman next year as well. And so it's definitely not a guy. I think that, we confuse portal stuff a lot of times, and people get upset. Well, why is Tennessee not hitting the portal harder? And I'll discuss that in a minute. But I think this one with Pregnon, it sounds like Tennessee's in the thick of it. Can they finish with them? It seemed like they had Josh Thompson, former Northwestern offensive lineman, in the fold. LSU come in with pretty hefty offer. The rest is history on that one. Hopefully Tennessee can finish off here with it as well. And, I'm not even in that notion of, Ellerby's not developing talent. We got to go to the portal. I don't care. Just get the best players. If you got to go to the portal, get a guy. Do it. Do what you have to do on it. But so far, Tennessee's only added Wendell Moy Jr., interior offensive line transfer from Arizona, and they've added Amari Jefferson, transfer from Alabama. And that one was pretty much set in stone. That seemed like once Jefferson went in, he was intent. He was going to Tennessee. There were no visits. There were no nothing. It was just he knew Tennessee. He knew where he wanted to be as well. Now, as I look at Tennessee's portal approach, people are like, well, why are we not hitting the portal harder? Number one, a prospect has to reciprocate the interest. If they don't, I mean, you can offer them all the money in the world. You can recruit them harder than anyone. But if that player just does not have the interest, they don't have the interest. There's nothing you can do on that. And I think we underestimate that a lot, that, well, we can just go throw money at a guy and he's going to come. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily on that one. I mean, you look at Miami. Miami's been working behind the scenes to get a quarterback for a while. They finally got Carson Beck today. You don't think that one's been going on for a little bit? That's the problem with this portal, is the tampering. That's the tampering. I saw Jim Mora Jr., UConn coach, called, I think it was USC was calling out, because it said he was calling out a West Coast team who's been losing a lot of players to the portal. Well, USC would fit the bill on that one, that they're coming in trying to get his. So there's a lot of tampering. It's a shitty system, for lack of a better term, and it's got to be fixed. It's got to be better. I don't have a problem with it in general, but I have a problem with the tampering. I think that's a joke, to be honest with you. But Tennessee's portal approach, let's go position by position on it. They didn't need a portal quarterback. I still think they need a running back. I don't know if they need an RB1 or if they just need depth. But, there's Ty Edwards, running back from Northern Iowa, that's been mentioned. And there'll be others out there as well. Tight end, they're good there. You had Kitzelman. Once Kitzelman announced he was coming back, I mean, that led to Holden Stays going to Indiana. And I didn't necessarily want to lose Holden Stays, but, it was going to be the same situation. Kitzelman ended up being so much better than I think we anticipated on that. And I think we expected Stays to be that big tight end. It ended up being Miles Kitzelman on it. Tennessee's good at tight end. Wide receiver, they've added Amari Jefferson. The Mike Matthews news of him coming back was huge. I still think Tennessee could withstand to add one more wide receiver through the portal. But right now, if you factor in returners, Amari Jefferson, the three guys coming in through the high school ranks, you've got 7. You factor in Boo Carter, who's supposed to get some run at wide receiver. That would essentially be 8. But I still think you could withstand to add one more experienced guy. But I'll be honest, I don't think you just add a guy to add a guy. And I don't know who's out there at this point. I think my one critique would be they should have been more aggressive out of the gate. I have a concern if guys leaving a top-tier program to transfer, because that, unless he was their main guy and he's going out to hit money or something. I think some of your lower-level guys, though, once they put, you take like a Chaz Lanier or a Dalton Connect, for example. They did it at Northern Florida, Northern Colorado, respectively there. Now they got that opportunity to come to a bigger school. Okay. Well, you think about it in coaches. I think it was it Jimmy Dykes or Jay Billis mentioned this the other night, talking about, I like players have this opportunity, because don't think a coach who's at a smaller school would not take a chance to go to the SEC. Well, why should a player not have that opportunity as well? I think personally, but I mean, you look at a Chris Brazel, Tennessee got him from Tulane last year. That's your kind of guys I think could pan out with it. But I think I would say Tennessee was a little, I don't know. I think they were a little behind the ball on the wide receiver. But, at the same time, it's going toward where my philosophy lies. Offensive line, you've recognized you got Wendell Moy Jr. They're still going for an interior offensive lineman. So if I analyze that offense, I'm thinking that Tennessee's looking at, we're going to invest our money in what we have, and we're going to develop them. We like what we have. We like where they're at. Defensive line, I still think they need just depth. I don't think they need like a starter or anything along the way. They have some really good players coming back next year. To me, the one thing that defensive line needs is they need to get to the quarterback more next year. Linebacker, I don't feel like need any linebackers. I really don't. I think there's talent there. It's just developing that talent. And I'm really at the same spot with secondary. Unless you could add like last year when Caleb Downs hit the portal from Alabama, ended up going to Ohio State. If you could add a guy like that at safety, yeah, you go all in and add it. But again, I don't think you just add guys to add guys, especially not paying. I don't think you pay somebody to come be a backup. And at all those positions on defense, again, I think you will stand to add depth. They've struck out so far on defensive linemen who visited. Linebackers, they're good. Secondary, I'm not aware of any secondary guys that they've been after as well. And you return most of your secondary. You do have an open spot at safety. But, also, what about a Farouk? Jordan Thomas returning from injury. People have mentioned Boo Carter. Could Boo Carter play safety? If Boo Carter gives you more at safety than he does at star, go for it. I don't know if that's on the table or not. Christian Charles did some good things this year as well. I said it from the get-go. I don't think Tennessee needs but about 5 guys from the portal at most. And, we can sit here and say, well, Ole Miss is going out here racking up. Something's off with Ole Miss that they're having to go out and get 10 to 20 guys every year out of the portal. So they're not recruiting at a high enough level, and maybe that's their approach now as well. But that tells me Tennessee feels good with their recruiting. They feel good with their young guys and where they're at. And, would I've liked to have seen more added through the portal? Yes. Am I totally down on it? I don't think I am. And there's still more time. One of the schools goes out tonight, Ohio State or Texas, and then January 20th, national championship game. Will there be any more guys hit the portal then? Could there be any, guys hit the portal after the spring that could pique the interest as well? I mean, we've seen at any point now a guy could hit the portal. But for me, Tennessee's approach, I think, is obviously they want to add on those lines, but I just don't think they need a whole lot. And, we might get into next season. I know some of you are saying, well, 8-4 is coming. I'm not convinced on that. I'm not convinced 8-4. Now, the thing is, they're going to have to learn to win on the road, because you got to go to Alabama, you got to go to Florida. You're going to have to go to, let me think, who came tonight? You're going to have to go to Mississippi State. You're going to have to go to Kentucky. Of course, you got Syracuse and Atlanta to start the season. I saw where Kyle McCord said he's going to the NFL draft, so you won't have to face him. And you got Georgia coming to Knoxville. Well, until Tennessee beats Georgia at this point, I mean, I can't expect them to beat them. So could a 9-3 season be on tap? The biggest thing for Tennessee, they got to learn to win on the road. And, it's a Florida team that looks like they're going to be a whole lot better. They're going to have a lot. Alabama, I'm curious. Alabama, I think, is in a state of flux right now. But, I mean, you've not beaten Alabama in a long, long time now. And the way Tennessee plays on the road, you cannot assume anything along the way. But I don't necessarily think their portal approach is bad. I would like to see a little more aggressiveness, though. I'd like to see them be out in front of things, opposed to reactionary. And I think that's where they're at. And I think with the wide receivers, they were more reactionary. But, I mean, most of these guys hit the portal prior to all this, chaos going on. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know regarding that, but I do know, and I feel confident in saying they feel good with what they've got coming back. And then last thing I got, coach news, I think, based on what I keep reading around on VolQuest, Brent Hubbs has said it some too. I think you'll see Tim Banks back next year. I think you'll see Willie Martinez back. I don't get the indication that Mike Eckler will be back. He has not been on the road. He is out of contract at the end of the month. I would expect you won't see Mike Eckler back. I like Mike Eckler. That dude's been all about Tennessee since he's been here. He's been all in. I hope he's now, it could be a case, too. There's a limit to who can be on the road, and analysts can be on the road. Coach Chop, Harbin, is one of your best recruiters. Maybe it's a case of they're putting him out on the road opposed to Mike Eckler. I would like to see Mike Eckler back, because I think for the most part, the special teams under Mike Eckler has been really good. So I'm hoping it works out to where he's back. We'll see where that goes. I think that one bears watching at this point, but I would expect for the most part this staff will return intact again. But go wrap up on that one. You guys stay safe, stay warm. Check out, I don't promote this enough. Biggest way you can help the channel, of course, is sharing out the content. Check out that Patreon. I have the link in the description. There are the channel memberships in the description as well. But that Patreon, $4 $1 a month, you can go to help the channel. It's greatly appreciated. There are the super thanks in the bottom right corner as well. Just to say thanks for the content. We appreciate any tips that you throw along the way as well. Frank, House of Orange, have a great day and go Vols.